Hello and welcome back to my channel. So here we are again for some more Tarot Tuesday twist, and the minor card that we did the other day was Eight of Swords, the sword family. We are now looking at how to read that Eight of Swords with a Major Arcana card and showing you the difference that when you fuse a Major Arcana card and a Minor Arcana card, you will be able to understand what's really going on a lot better than if you were just using and pulling out one card for every position. If you use two in every position, this is what tonight is all about. That's what we do on Tuesdays. And the Eight of Swords is a card of how we are thinking. So it's not as bad as it looks. It might be bad in your mind, but is there any reality to it? This is a card, as I mentioned the other day, that if you had taken action when we got the Two of Swords, which is about indecision, indecisiveness, and not knowing what to do and which way to turn, then we could have avoided the Eight of Swords. So on the screen for you, I've got the Chariot and the Eight of Swords. Let's say that the question is, they're asking for a general reading. We have a look, and the first two cards that come out are now. Thought I would actually try and help you with a general reading and the first two cards that's coming out. So you take your first Major Arcana card and you get the Chariot. You take your first Minor Arcana card and you get the Eight of Swords. And you go, okay, we're off. Now, I would normally put out a big old spread, and I'll be showing that a little bit later on tonight. I've got a little diagram to show you how many cards I actually use and how, as a professional reader, it stood me in good stead to be able to answer any questions that I am happy to answer. And what I mean by that is there are things that I will not answer: health questions, pregnancy, and maybe legal situations. They're the two things that I would actually say, no way am I going to answer those questions. Major Arcana is telling you what's happening, okay? The Minor Arcana is telling you how they're dealing with what's happening. Chariot is linked to the home, linked to Cancerians, linked to the dispatch of things that go on the road. Eight of Swords, this person is feeling all trussed up, tied up in knots, in a place of bondage in their mind. There's some restrictions mentally. This person is actually feeling all tied up in knots, bound, worried, not sure what to do, so they're doing nothing. And so their thinking is, my domestic life, or how am I going to get from A to B? And can we see how we get domestic life, because it's the fourth house. So if you know something about astrology, it's really going to help you. And look at the obvious. The Chariot. A chariot is vehicle that's on the road, a very old vehicle. What? Tarot is old. Sometimes your deck can actually cause you to struggle. And I've mentioned in the past in tutorials that it's good to look at the deck that you're using to see if it's working for you. But just remember that tarot cards, although they have old-fashioned images, what's a chariot in modern day terms? What's the Eight of Swords? Swords are communication, or the way we are thinking. So this person is thinking in a restricted way. That's the background effects that's going on. The subject of which their thoughts are restricted is in the Major Arcana card. It's about a chariot. So you might say, okay, so it's about a car. Could be. Or it could be about, there's not just cars that go on the road, is there? It could be about something to do with any form of transport and journeys, and maybe something isn't local enough for them and it's stressing them out and they're not doing anything about it. Maybe this is somebody, and we don't know, because that's the difficulty with the general, isn't it? You would need a lot of cards out to see the whole story. But I know that a lot of you put out a couple of cards at a time. There's no way I can do a big old spread for you and show you that. I could, but we'd be here all night and we'd be doing a reading. And what we want to do is examples of what the Eight of Swords is telling us. So Eight of Swords, this person is feeling all trussed up, tied up in knots, in a place of bondage in their mind. They don't want to move. It's not terror. It's fear in their mind of something. So it could be about journey. It could be about a car, who knows, or a bus, or a journey that they take. More likely to be the fact that the chariot is tied in, and this is where it probably is. So I would go for this first and say, this is to do with domestic matters, what's going on at home. You're feeling very restricted. And they might turn around and say to you, I'm really not coping at home. I'm finding everything that's getting on top of me. And I'm working from home. There you go, possibly. Or I've gone back to work and I prefer to work at home. And the journey is actually really stressing me out. And I don't want to actually approach and say, could I continue to do some remote work from home? You've got something here. This is something tied with journeys. This is something also tied with Cancer, because the chariot is Cancer. So it could be a Cancerian. They might be a Cancerian. And what you've got to look at is your other cards. Now, if this has come up in the now position, in a general reading, just going with that, there are some possibilities. How would you know for sure? The next cards would show you in the spread, the obstacle, and then in the next pair, you would get the foundations, what it's all about, what it's currently based on. So we'll do an example of the foundations perhaps another time. So what we're saying is, general reading, please. First 2 cards out. This is what we've got. Maybe there's a Cancerian around them. Maybe they're stressed out by that. Maybe their domestic life. It's nothing that's telling us it's a relationship. They're stressed out in the mind. It is linked to the emotions because the chariot is Cancer, and that's an emotional sign because of the element of water. They've asked for a general. How do I answer it about money? How do I answer it about work? 2 cards. The biggest thing I can say to you is use pairs, but use plenty of different positions. Base it on a Celtic cross. Don't just put down your card and read that and think you're going to get it from there and think, oh, they expect me to just get it all from one card. You can't. It's so nuanced. There's so many multiple meanings. You would be doing yourself a disservice and them to just be doing that. If you can actually put all of the pieces of the puzzle together in the position of the spread, you're going to know what you're doing. They're going to love it. And if they love it, you're going to actually feel that you're confident and that you are capable of giving them a reading, and you will take accountability for that and you'll be happy with that. Let's do another example. The High Priestess and the 8 of Swords. Let's bring it back to a general reading. Oh, can you give me a general? 8 of Swords, they are stressed out mentally about something, or some form of communication has deeply restricted our person in their thoughts and maybe in their conversations with themselves. The next part of this is the Major Arcana card, the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is card of secrets being revealed. And perhaps our person is feeling that there is something that they are going to actually have revealed to them, and they don't know what that is. So they're worried about the outcome of this, but they probably know what it is deep down. Why do I say that? High Priestess. Although something is going to be revealed to us, this person has a hunch, a gut feeling, or they are somebody that's perceptive, they're psychic, they're very intuitive. Call it what you like. And also never keep saying to your client, oh, I can see it very psychic. That is something that I've heard readers over the years start with on every reading. And if somebody's going for readings with different people and that's the first thing they say, and it feels a little bit like a script. So just be guarded with that, all right? If you're going to say it somewhere later on, maybe, or be sure. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10, people actually say no. And I thought you were the psychic, not me. Maybe you could say, you know what, I think deep down you actually know that this is a struggle. and you probably know what this is about. And might say, oh gosh, yes, I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z at work. I really feel that with a lust to know what's going on, and I really don't know what's going to happen. That Eight of Swords, where I was reminding you, it is something that built up from the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is, in my experience, this person had the opportunity to ask and didn't feel that they could. Oh, I don't want to. I'm not sure if I should ask that. Clarity. They've got no clarity. They've got hunches. But obviously, sometimes our intuitive side can kick in and make us actually look at much worse scenarios than they actually are, right? It's important that we recognize that a lot of people do have intuition about something that's happening, and then they don't know if it's intuition or overthinking. In this case, it's both. Overthinking, Eight of Swords, but not doing anything restricted. I'm thinking, but it goes round and round. And I don't do anything. I don't say anything. I don't ask anything. I don't find out the answers. That is what the Eight of Swords is. Not finding things out. Remember that swords are intellect. How do we actually become intelligent? We find out. This person hasn't. And they're sitting there, and High Priestess got feelings. So many psychics come to me for readings and go, I need you to look, I read the cards myself, I'm a psychic, I'm a professional, I need your impersonal advice, because you know what it's like when you read for yourself. And I always say, okay, let's look at it. Actually, I read for myself because I'm very impartial, and the method I use, my emotions don't come into it because it's a system. If you're pulling one card, oh, it could be this, it could be that, and then you put it in any position, you could still say, might be them. I don't know if it's me or them. If you are using a pair, you are finding out the background effects in the Minor Arcana, and you're finding out what it's about in the Major Arcana. What's the subject? Their intuition. Their intuition is stressing them out, and they've done nothing about it. That's what this pair means. Let's bring this question on. If I ask you about any new friendships coming in soon, and you, the right card, if you're saying, if somebody was asking, are there some new friendships coming in for me? More telling you saying, if I was to ask about new friendships coming in, what would be the right card? There's a lot, but the ones that I would say to you, you'd be looking for are court cards, all right? The Star card. The Star card is the biggest area for friendships and the potential maybe of that friendship growing into something else. I cannot show you a court card tonight because my PDF is geared up with only the minor card being the Eight of Swords. So I can't show you an example of that. So court cards, and there's 16 of them, isn't there? So you've got 4 pages, 4 knights, 4 queens, 4 kings. They're people. They're also an aspect of the person having the reading. All right? Potential friends or enemies, they're somebody. So they're characters. So that's one part. And you've also got things like friendships, as in 6 of Cups, 10 of Cups, 9 of Cups, 3 of Cups. We'll be doing those. 3 of Cups, gatherings with people, friends, celebration. 10 of Cups, family, friends and family friends. It's all there. All your court cards, of course. And 6 of Cups, 2 children. They're just some of the examples, all right? You're now saying, if someone is asking about a positive question like love and romance, yeah, the right cards, it's hard to answer as in what's specific, but you'd be looking maybe for the lovers, and you got a court card. Yeah, that's probably friendships, potential relationships. In answer to the PDF that I've got, I using the Eight of Swords and only changing the Major Arcana, So you would be more inclined to find that the Major Arcana would be somebody new, the Fool, somebody from the past, the Hermit, and the Lovers, because that's about two people. Okay, so they're just some examples. The reason I answered it with that second part of the sentence is you said if somebody's asking a positive question like love and romance, we'd be looking for the Lovers, and then we'd be looking for a court card with the Lovers. And then if we're looking to say, is it something new? We're looking for the Fool, and we're looking for a court card. The Fool, someone new. Something new. The court card, who? It's also the position. And tonight I'm going to actually show you an example of what my spread looks like. But I'm not going to teach you the positions because that's what the courses are there for. And this is just about pairs. Otherwise, we are going down rabbit holes. And the whole reason I did the courses is because you asked me for them. How can I become more professional? What is it that clients looking for business, the employees, psychics and tarot readers, what is looking for me to give a reading? And that's what these courses do. Let's have a look at why I'm picking the star card. The star card is connected to Aquarius. This is why you go on the courses, you will learn the astrological and the planetary associations with all the major cards and what's associated with the minor cards. And the star card is linked to Aquarius. Aquarius is about our friendships. It's our community. That's why. If it was new friends coming in, and let's say this person's saying, oh, am I going to meet anybody? I'm feeling really restricted in my friendship circle. Am I going to meet anyone? And the star card comes up and you get the Eight of Swords. How would you read this for them? The star card is showing there's a community there and there's friendships. But the Eight of Swords, and I said it came up in the first two cards, so that's now, would be saying that there's a restriction in communication with those friendship circles or with that community. So you see, it's the minor card that's telling you whether is it a good thing, is it a bad thing if you carry on in the current track. So 4 and 4 arms, if somebody says, oh, you know what, am I going to make some new friends? And with the potential maybe of actually it growing into a romance, and this came up, he'd say, there are friendships there. Why? The star card's there. The community's there. The friendship circles are there. That's what Aquarius is. It's all about the collective, the people, the politics. Okay? And the Eight of Swords is telling you how our current, the person having the reading, is getting on with that subject, the community, the friendships, the politics. They're getting in their own way. Eight of Swords, causing problems for themselves by restricting themselves. So maybe you've got nothing to say to people. You're totally restricted. You're probably saying, I'm quite shy. I'm not the world. Sorry, I'm throwing my cushion down there. I'm not the, does that make sense to you? Yeah? So the major card, what are you looking for? If you're looking for love, look in your major card. The star card is friendship. Lover's card is potential romance. But don't always mix up the lover's card with just romance because it's attraction. And sometimes attraction can be platonic, intellectual. Many years ago, when I was teaching people to drive, as my main profession was driving instructor, and I did this still as a profession, but only at the Mondays and Fridays. I used to be young people and they go, oh, I'm in the skateboarding crew, I'm in the smoking behind the bike sheds crew, I'm in the science crew, I'm in the pure maths crew. And what they meant is there was groups and communities in sixth form at school where they called them crews. You know, they were just people they associated with for that common thing. bit like people go, oh, I hang out with the cricket team, or I hang out with the dance team, or I hang out with the people that are doing karaoke, or something that connects you in some way with that friendship. But it might be that outside of that, you're not friends. It just works on that level. So what's going on with the Eight of Swords is our person is restricted in their communication with others. They are restricted in what they're hearing from others, and their own thought and pattern is going round and round. But the card on the left is telling you where it's happening. So it's not going to change on the right side, but it's going to tell you where it's happening. Does that make sense? I think I'm getting it. Crystal Pickett, you said you wanted to ask a question. Please feel free. It's a tutorial, so we're whatever stage we're at, we're all learning. And I learn even when I'm giving readings, other people that I come across, or by situation, or the fact that I'm always watching others and what they're doing in books, videos, even by going on courses, always doing something. I don't mean every year, I just mean I tend to decide that it's the right time to do something. And courses are brilliant and they guide you. You can do that. I want to show you the keywords. Okay, I put it on the screen for you in our PDF. The helmet is a card of the past. So let's say our first two cards out in the spread or the reading are to do with somebody who's saying, can you give me a general reading? We've only got these two cards to go on. So let's look at it. You can see this person is restricted mentally. But there's usually a reason for that. So they are not restricting themselves just because they're difficult people. They may be shy, but that shyness can be misinterpreted for aloofness content. So the Hermit's a card of wisdom. It's connected with Virgo, and it's a card of the past. So if this came out straight away, there's three things for you there. Is this something to do with the Virgo? I might say yes or no. Is this something to do with work? Yes or no? Is this somebody to do with the past? We'll say yes or no. Indeed, it can be. Indeed, it can be a past life. And I'll tell you where that comes in, Mortelli, and how you would know for absolute certain. It would come in if this came up in my spread, and I'm going to show you that in a moment, okay? Just a PDF of how many cards are out. You could say, is this about a Virgo? And I might say, yes, it's my partner, it's my boss, it's me. Or, as I said, is this something from the past? Yes. Or is this a problem from the past? Yes or no? All right. And the other thing, of course, is look at the Hermit. What do you see? There's nobody there. They're on their own. It could be very alone. Or it could be, you can be alone and not be lonely. Yes, being alone. And the Hermit is also associated with the career of counsellors, professional counsellors, or somebody that does counsel us because they've got a lot of earthy wisdom and they've walked the boards in many different ways and they've got a lot of experience. So there's a few things there, but only a couple of cards. When somebody's going, go on, give me a general, it's quite hard. I do it. I wouldn't argue with anybody, but I just think I'm going to be going through the spread and I'll be looking at most important bits, what's crossing them, what the foundations of the reading are, what's coming, what's happening now. You start covering it. But I think that people think that you are a mind reader, and we're not. Thank goodness, I wouldn't want that. But quite honestly, it can be very difficult when somebody is not asking you a direct question. You can insist upon it, of course. I don't, because I know that it's okay, here we go, and we go for it. And then we get there, and obviously you hit gold, as it were. And they go, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to know. Really what they're saying is I was testing you, which is a bit silly when they're paying by the minute. Whatever. I know that people do, and I know that people are, I just wanted to see if you could get it. Perhaps they've just not had great experiences with other people, but they learn to be able to actually, most of them do anyway, to be able to turn around and say to you, this is what I want to know. And therefore, you can cut to the chase, and then they go, is there any other spiritual advice? If somebody was asking, have you got any spiritual advice for me? The hermit. You need some solitude. You really need to sort out your thinking. You need to actually look at maybe how people are perceiving you, and particularly that you'd rather be in your own company and that you're not contributing in communication. Okay, so this is my website. And so the courses are up there. You can see on the left, you've got the home button, and then you've got the courses. So if you were to pick, they're all mini courses, all right? And I'm just showing you on the screen rather than showing them all. I've shown you them all in the past. This is the intermediate. This is how you start. It's part 1, all right? Part 2 is you've got it. And it's on my website. No one else can get it. You're not going to get it anywhere else. It's geared up for people that want to develop and go as far as I possibly can with a course to take them to professional level. And I know what's needed. I used to run a platform, and of course, me and my husband will test readings to see if they were going to be able to give what somebody would want to pay for, and whether it was interesting or whether they were able to give that time and to do a good reading or to be able to answer the questions. There's a lot of things you're looking for. And we weren't mean. We would really give them time. We'd say, do you want to think about it? Do you want to come back? Do you want me to ask you a question? Okay, that wasn't so great. Should we start again without your cheat sheets? Let's try that again. Or you need to practice and come back when you want. Next week, next month. Brush up on it. So we weren't like, no, we're not. No. But we knew that if you actually go with your heart and feel sorry for that person and they're not quite right, it wasn't going to be good for them. It wasn't going to be good for our company, but most of all, it wasn't going to be good for people having the readings. Okay? This is what I want to show you. This is what my spread looks like. And this is what I'll teach you to be able to do. This is where you'll end up going if that's what you want. This is a terrific system. And if you look at the amount of cards, and you can see there's a lot there. There's 44. So there's 22 different positions. So that means that for every position, 2 cards are going down. It starts where you can see the Strength card and the Ace of Wands, and that's the now position. The one underneath is the Wheel of Fortune and the 4 of Swords, and that's what's crossing them. The Judgment card and the 3 of Pentacles is the foundation of the reading, and so on. And so it works right through, and every position tells you something. Mort Ali asked, I'm going to go back to this. Can the past be a past life? Yes. And so cards of the past are on the left there, as in of the Star card and the 7 of Swords. That's the past. Now, in answer to your question, I wouldn't be looking at that position. I would go to the 12th house, and the 12th house would tell me karma. Yeah? What's gone on in a past life? And so that is where I'd be looking. And that's in the spread that you're looking at on the screen. And yes, the past can be a past life. The intermediate that I showed you is part 1. This is the advanced spread. And this is where you can get to be. I'm going to show you this. I put a podcast, a playlist, so call it podcast, for you on my YouTube channel. That went up last week. That's all about Tuesday's Tarot Twist. It's the recordings of what we've done so you can get through the lesson and do what you need to do. You'll find that on my YouTube channel. There it is, Tarot with AnneMarie. That's my YouTube channel. On the screen for you, We keep the Eight of Swords. Again, we're keeping to a general question. And, it's a general reading. Can you look at it for me? And our first two cards now are the Tower and the Eight of Swords. So, Eight of Swords. They're restricted mentally. Something is restricting their thought process, their communication. Why? It's in the card on the left, the Major Arcana. Ever unsettled. That's what the Tower means. It's unsettling. Everything's just changed. No wonder they're actually needing a reading. Everything's so unsettled. They don't know what to think. They don't know what to say. They don't know who to trust in their communication from other people. Simple as that. The other thing you could say, of course, is the Tower is associated with its ruling planet, Mars. Mars is, just like you see there, fiery, fast. So what's happened, just like a bolt of lightning has hit a building, boom, that's it, all change. So this person's dealing with a lot out of the blue, sudden happenstances, causing them to actually feel still in a place of being all bound up mentally. Things have happened and it's upset the apple cart in the thoughts. I don't know what to think. But remember what I'm saying. When you're looking at your suits, there has been a build-up to get to where this is. And the great example that I talked about this, I don't want to say every week, but I really covered that on the Six of Swords tuition. So the recent one that I did on the Six of Swords, go and look at the Thursday one where I talk about the Six of Swords just on its own, and then go and look at Tarot Twists on Tuesday to look at how it's combining that. And what I talked about is it's all about this happens, then that happens. Ace of Swords, spark of inspiration. And all of a sudden, we've got the Two of Swords. I'm indecisive on this new thing of mine. Now I don't know whether to do that or that. And that's Two of Swords. So then Three of Swords, heartbreak, because we didn't actually take control. We didn't actually deal with that. You might not go to the Three of Swords. You might actually get the reward for taking off the blindfold on the Two of Swords. Do you see where I'm going with this? Can you see what I'm saying to you? Is that making sense? If you do what the impartial advice is from your cards, you don't go directly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, Three of Swords, Four of Swords. The Six of Swords usually comes about because, as I mentioned in that tutorial, all the journey of getting started, the indecisiveness, the heartbreak, that kind of needing to decompress, not coping, that's in the Five of Swords with groups of people, where there's conflict, where it's disturbing. And Six of Swords, we have someone else come in and help us out. The ferryman takes us across the water. Now, our life doesn't go in a storyboard like that. But if we don't pay attention, it does, because the energy builds. So that's why if you have a tarot reading, it's not really a prediction. It's just looking at what are the background effects and what's the likelihood of what's going to happen based on the current circumstances and the background effects involved. Yeah? Hopefully. I know we could talk and go on, and when you ask questions, I think it gives more clarity for the viewers and helps me. I know what you would like or do more of or less of, whichever. Okay? That's the Tower. What will this one be? Now we have this in the now position, in a general reading. And can you see what I mean? If you looked at that big old spread of mine, you would be able to see what's happening in the past, what's coming, what's their spiritual advice, what the houses mean. The houses, that's what you will get in the intermediate. Once you get going with that, people say, how long? Whenever you want. You could buy both together if you want to. But you need to do the intermediate to be able to go, this is the system, this is what I'm laying out, get used to laying it out. But there's nothing stopping you going, I'm really curious, I want to put them all out. And I've got the gist of this bit, got it. I can't do it, but I've got it. And I'm going to start. So then it's just practice and come and ask here people that are already using the system. What it has done is it's helped readers that were about to give up because they were saying, I don't know if it means this. What would you say if it's that? Usual. How can money in a pentacle come up in a romance reading? Jolly well glad it does, because it doesn't just mean money. It means a lot of things. But really, pentacle family, when we get there, it's about the fact that this is product ready to go. Whether it's a good one or a bad one or messing it up or whatever, something tangible. That's what it means. And so symbolic pentacle just means it's all of the elements combined. The thought process, the emotional, we think it. Now, we've got to have a reason to move beyond a thought. We've got to be moved in some way emotionally. No, I do not want to. Or absolutely, I'm going to do it. Or, don't know. That's an emotion. From that emotion, whether will or we won't, which goes into fire, which is the one's action. And then, once you've had a spark of thought, you know how you feel about it, and off you went to do it, you'll end up with something, won't you? And then we've got to look at the stage of the journey of how you're coping with that something. Let's say you wanted to make a meal. You made a meal and it's, okay, was that a good meal? Oh, was it something that we've got to try a bit harder and get the recipe right? And that's what we're looking at from 1 to 10. And then we're looking at the aspects in the court cards of you and other people that may be in your life that come into the reading. Okay? So it makes it really, you can dig, which I love. And some people go, oh, I like it really simple. There's plenty of that around. You can get that anywhere, can't you? You can make it simple, but knowing you're making it simple is one thing. But knowing you're going to keep climbing that mountain because you want to make it simple, but you want to know more. That's what I'm saying. All right? Whichever you want. The podcast Learn Tarot is the tutorial about the weekly meanings of that one card alone and what you might want to know about it. And no one's saying you've got to know it all or know all of that, but you are getting as much as I can give you in that time that applies to that card. Thank you so much for all your questions tonight. You've been amazing. See you soon. Bye, everybody. I'm going to play you out.